I've used it for years. Now I'm gonna we'll go through it, do a screen share. I'm gonna show you what it is, the description, and then I'm gonna change the view, and then I'll show you how to use it on the device. So let's get into it. Let's jump. So the app name is Ampere. Ampere as in amps, or I guess your phone measures milliamps, but you can test your the charging bricks that you have is scattered throughout your home. We have a ton of them. You can test your cables, your charging cables. But if there's one that's in question, or you want to see how much your phone is discharging, right? When your phone is not plugged in, it'll let you know exactly how much energy your phone is using to operate. So, as I mentioned, I will link this in the description below. This is by a developer named Brain Trap. Let's see, does it say how much it is? So the pro features will give you widgets. Okay, notification. You also have a status indicator on your notification swipe down. You can get alerts on your device, and also for Android Wear. Let's see. I will link the frequently asked questions. I'll link everything in the description box for y'all. But it's very useful. Very useful. Let's see, data safety ratings and reviews. As you can tell, it's very highly rated. I guess it says it works on Chromebook. Interesting. I didn't know that. Is there anything else? Overview. What's new in this latest update? Cycle count for Android 14. I noticed that. I was checking my cycle count for my Pixel 8 Pro. It's at 47 battery cycles. Theme type, app icon, bug fixes. Well, it's pretty basic. Look, not too much to explain. It's like I said, it's basic, but it's extremely useful tool to measure everything in your home. And let me grab some chargers. Let me grab some cables, and I'll change the view to where we are looking at the device, and I will show you how it works. You ready? All right, let's go. All right, as we switch to the alternative view, I got three phones here: the Pixel 8 Pro, S23 Ultra, Nothing Phone 2. Now, it's best to test. Here's a tip. It's best to test your charging on a device when your battery is lower. You see how this one's at 38%? This will give a 100% full blast charging test, basically. Look, when your phone has, especially with the Pixel, when your phone is at 98, or if it's close to 100, I would say anything 80 and above, it's gonna actually reduce the amount of charging. Or especially the closer you get to 100, like right here, it's not going to give it a full blast. So it's hard to precisely tell how much power is coming to your device if it's close to 100. Before you test anything, any charger in your home, make sure it's like below 50. That's like absolutely perfect battery. Okay, so you open up the app, right? This is what it looks like. So my phone is discharging, right? Because there's nothing plugged in. If you plugged in, it would be adding power to the device. And right now, with it not plugged in, the power is leaving. It's using the power. So that's why it's a negative 170 milliamps. Now the max is at 1430. I'm sure that's when it was on full blast watching a video or something. Minus is negative 10 milliamps. Now, you have a different number of pages, right? They all give you the same information. It's just a different layout. So you get this. So it's personal preference, right? Now look, this is a new feature they added. This will tell you, this is a good app to use to see, like if you're gonna buy a used phone, while you're checking the phone out, checking the IMEI number, looking over the phone, making sure it's not blacklisted, whatever, download this app real quick and look at the cycle count. Cycle count tells you 101 cycle counts. That tells you how many times the battery in the device has been charged and discharged charged and discharged. It's done that 101 times. So you can kind of tell. Look, the normal battery life for one of these phones is what, about a day, right? At most a day and a half, but that's not average. The average phone will last a day, right? You charge it once a day. Well, that'll give you a good count of how long the device, how many times or days the device has been used. 101 times. Sorry. Okay. So it gives you information, level 30%, battery, good health. It'll also tell you the health of your battery, lithium ion. It'll give you battery capacity, temperature of the device, the voltage of the device, whether it's charging or discharging. You get the manufacturer, device model, blah, 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 blah. Now you can share these with the share button, right? In the settings, let's go through that real quick. Here are the settings. Basic settings, enhanced measurement, try to measure also in not charging, which it's measuring right now, not in charging. So that's how I have that on. Ignore battery health. Temperatures, Celsius, Fahrenheit. You can choose dark theme, enable recent changes, notifications, and alert categories. Here's all of the notifications for the app. That's basic settings. Privacy, blah, blah, blah. Widget. You can change the widget text size. We'll get into that. Notification settings. You can enable, look. See the Ampere up there? So, yes, I want the notification. Look. It'll tell you in your notification pull down. It'll also tell you when you plug it in, so you don't have to physically open up the app. Whoops. Additional information. You can set how the notification looks. Well, you can change that information in your notification pull down. You can change all that. All that's customizable. So if you don't like something, simply change it, right? So the third option, the battery level, minimum, max, and then let's do battery temperature so I make sure it doesn't get too hot. So we hit OK. Pull down, boom, battery temperature is right there. It's nice and useful so you can tell if your device is overheating. The batteries, typically battery and CPU of the device are going to be typically the hottest things inside your phone. You can have all the notification modifications right there. Alert settings. If your battery gets too low, you can set an alert. If your battery gets too hot, you can set an alert. I have some of those enabled. All that's customizable, and you can change the frequency of when the application checks the data, the temperature, or the status of the device. The faster it checks, the more battery it's going to use. The least amount of times it checks, the less battery it'll use. Now, this is not a battery drainer. This has never been an issue with me in the past as far as awake lock or draining the battery. Again, never been an issue for me. It's one of my favorite apps of all time. Now, the onboarding means, this is the explanation of it, right? What is Ampere good for? Can help you find the best charger and charging cable combination for your device. It'll charge the fastest. What is the app not able to do? The current and voltage are not measured at the USB port. It's measured, it's measured battery status. It's measured in your device. But that's good. You want to know what's coming into your phone, right? Because a charger, you could test one of these chargers and it'll tell you, oh, you're getting 5.8 amps output. So you would be expecting 5.8 amps in your phone, right? But that's not the true data. It might lose some amperage through the cable. There may be high resistance in the cable and you lose that amperage, right? So it says 5.8. You test this one in the wall, it says 5.8. But when you plug your phone in, you're only getting 3.2. Well, what do you really want to know, right? The true amperage going to your phone is 3.2, not the 5.8. So it's perfect. How accurate is the app? It's pretty damn accurate. Trust me. Okay, so let's test it out. You can also add a home screen widget, as you see there, so you can quickly glance at your battery stats. Now, let's look at the widgets, right? So these widgets are pretty cool. Now, as it said when we looked at the app on the Play Store, it is with the Pro version gets you these, but these are so cool. Look, let me see if I have it added. I thought I had it added on my home screen. Yeah, there we go. So Ampere, you can add these cool widgets on your home screen, so you can quickly glance again. So you don't have to open the app. You can always have all this data right here. The only time you open the app, actually, you don't even need to open the app once you set it, because when you test your chargers, it'll tell you all right here. Watch. Okay, so you got these, and let me show you they also have a, let's see, is that all of them? So you get these. So you get the current, the amps. You can set a dark theme that has it bundled, all the data bundled in there. Battery level. You have a light theme widget. You also have your battery temperature. You have your translucent battery widget there, and then the voltage widget down there, voltmeter down there. So it's basically what they look like right there. So let's test it out, right? Okay, so I have this plugged into the wall. Now here is an example of, let's test this one, right? You can also say, okay, so the output of this one is 9 volts at 1.67 amps, or 5 volts at 2 amps, right? And I'll show you the difference between the different cables, because look, now this is a type A plugin. So I have a cheap type A to type C cable, and then I have a $20 high performance Anchor type A to type C cable. So it should give us a good difference between the two. So let's go ahead and plug the cheap one in, and I'll show you. So it's plugged in. Let's plug that in. It does take a, probably 10 seconds or so to measure, and then it adjusts itself as you what was it rated at? 2 amps, 5 volts, 2 amps. So you can, now this is a cheap cable, so it may not give the full. So we're getting, it says voltage is only 3.8. Now this cable might have high level of resistance, which would reduce the statistics here. A cable with less resistance, or you want 0 resistance, which means give you the full power, right? So it looks like I'm going to give you the max current of your current charging and your minimum current of your current charging. So it looks like it leveled out right at about 1.5 amps. Now these are in milliamps, and all you do is simply simple math, so that technically it's 1.56 amps. Just add a dot right there. Okay, so it's leveling out at 3.9 volts, so just under 4 volts at 1.56 amps. So, and then look at the widget. See, your widget will give you current update as far as the amperage, volts, battery temperature, battery level. Same thing with your widget. Same thing with the pull down. And then same thing with your lock screen, watch. Right there. Okay, so let's test the high dollar one. So it's 1.5 amps at 3.9 volts. Throw that to the side. We'll plug, and then we'll test these super fast ones that I got here. This one's very, very fast. I think up to 6 amps was on my Nothing phone earlier, so we'll test that real quick. But I just wanted to give an example of how to test these cables, right? Because the charger remains the same, but the cables are different. So a good way to test your cables is don't change the charger unless you want a high performance charger. Actually, it's probably best to do it on a high performance. Here, let me just show you the difference between these cables, and then I'll show you how to test a cable. So it takes a second to measure it. Let's actually go into the, there we go. So it's basically, look, it's a cheap ass charger, right? So it's basically the same as it's putting out weak power. The best thing, so that was basically the same, I think, because this one was weak. So those cables are putting out the same amount, but you can always look. These are always labeled. They're current, right? They're put out. They're max put out. Now, sometimes they're hard to read. Like this one right here. And where's this one? So this one is a PD charger. I need to get a GAN charger. I think I'm going to order one here in a second. 45 watts max. Now this is max. That doesn't mean you're going to get that all the time, but it is a power delivery charger. Input, don't necessarily have to worry about it, but look at the output. Phones are typically 5 volts. Laptops are like 19 to 20. So output, hang on. All right, sorry. So this one is, the right one is 27 watt turbo. Now you also got to look at the amperage, right? The amps. So this one says it's also PD, but only maxed out at 27. 5 volts, 3 amps. So it looks like max this will do is 3 amps. I think this one's more. Let's give it a test. It does more than that. 5 volts, 2.4. It does way more than that. Let's see. Plug this in. Okay, my fastest charger cable is right here. This is like a 20. This is a Thunderbolt 4 cable. So, you know, this is not Thunderbolt technology, but it gives a very fast current, right? So let's test it out. Takes a second. It'll measure, the phone will tell what kind of charger it is with these chips in here. They can read each other. Wow, look at that. See, it is way more than 2.4 amps. It's almost pushing 6 amps. That's about as fast as you'll find on any charger. Looks pretty good. Over 4.1 volts. I'm maxing at it 5.8 amps. That's a very, very fast charge. So that'll get you a quick charge right there. And that's what you want to look at. The amps, you can dive into, I might put in the description box what are amps, what are volts and all that. May or may not, but it's easy. I would take too much time on this video explaining the amps and the volts, but main thing you want to look at is amps. The volts are important, but not the most important, in my opinion. You want the watts, but in the amps. That's how fast the current is going. So you're getting a very, very fast charge into this device. Let's find a cheaper. So we're at 4.1 volts. See, the temperature's gone up a little bit, which is expected. You are charging the device. So let's find a cheaper cable. Let's put this Pixel cable into here and see what it does. Make sure when you're testing these cables, the best case scenario, obviously use the same brick whenever you're testing a cable. Use the same brick so you have a stable, something you can that's stable that you can compare it to. But you want to try and use your fastest, most powerful brick. And sometimes this is the best way to test it. Just you open the app, plug stuff in, and see what works. Okay, so these two cables, look, they're basically the same as far as charging, as far as current. Now, one thing this app does not measure is the data transfer speeds. I'm sure there's ways to find that. I'm sure you could plug your phone into your computer with this wire, with this cable, and then you can test the transfer speeds. There's applications on the desktop that you can use to test data transfer speeds. They both send the same amount. They both charge your phone at the same basic speed, but this one probably has faster data transfer speeds. Now this one, I think most of my cables, I'm not gonna lie to you, most of my cables are high performance because I don't like the cheap stuff. So I'm sure there's not going to be a lot of difference between me testing these. I was trying to look for the shittiest, the worst performing cable I could find and the best performing cable I could find to show you. But most of my stuff is high performance. I'm trying to see if I have another up. Let's see if it climbs up. See, I've been having issues with this cable. It'll connect and disconnect. It'll connect and disconnect. Let's see if I can get it, because you don't... Let's see. It looks like it might be less unless it continues to climb. Continue to climb. 5 amps. 5.3, 5.5, 5.7, wow, 5.8. It looks like that's it. Wow. Okay, so these charging speeds, my cables seem to be okay. Now, let's put this 27 watt charger in there. So you get the idea, right? But this is a very, very handy I download and install this app on every single device I have. And it says you can do it on tablets. You can also do it on Chromebooks, which is interesting. I just learned that earlier. So looks like this is going to max out at, I don't think this goes over 5 from what I remember. So it's a good way, again, to go through all your cables, sit down for a good, however long it takes. You've got a lot. It may take, 15, 20 minutes. It may take, 5 minutes. But download this app on your phone. Go through, take a few minutes out of your day. Collect all your cables. Collect all your chargers. And go through each one, right? I've thrown away some cables because they're just crap, right? They don't charge as fast. You buy them cheap. You kind of get what you pay for a lot of the times with these electronics. If you want a fast charging, if you want a fast charging solution for your device, you're gonna have to spend a little more money. Not a lot. Like, you can find some good deals, but just be mindful. Now it's disconnecting because I think this charger had issues. As you can tell, when I plugged in this silver cable, it did the same thing. It would disconnect without me even touching it. So this is not a dependable charger. It'll connect, and then for whatever reason, it'll cut the power to the phone every few minutes. So I'm going to need to rethink about replacing this one. See? It does it, and it's only this charger. So I learned something today in my own video. I'm going to need to toss this. What is it? Aki? Because it's done this in our living room. Plug a device in overnight. You can go to it in the morning and it's not fully charged. Like, what the hell? So I'm going to need to toss this. It keeps on connecting and disconnecting. So I learned something today that is trash. But this one's badass. I don't elect jet. I'm not even sure. I may put that in the description box. This is actually, it's one of the faster chargers we have in the home. I use my OnePlus charger all the time because it's typically the fastest. But now looking at this one, it's right up there with the OnePlus charger. And this is probably cheaper. Huh. Damn thing. I'm gonna throw this away. But this one's good. And this will charge laptops, Chromebooks as well, because I've plugged my laptop into this. So anyways, that'll do it for the app review. I don't want to waste too much more of your time. Probably made this video longer than it should be, but it is what it is. I'm very detailed, so unfortunately my videos might be a little longer, but it's all good. I'm gonna link this in the video description. Q&A video in the video description. And he also has some other apps too. I wonder what they are real quick now that I think about it. Let's see. Display tester, glue pics, merge your photos and pictures into one image and share it with your friends. Huh. Square avatar, creatures of earth, read his tales, Pro calc for ingress, badge maker. Oh, ingress badge maker. Damn, that's old, right? Ingress, I remember that. I wonder what happened to it. I don't know, but those are his other apps. You might want to try his display tester. I've never tried that before. But I'll link. I don't know if they have it for the Apple in the Apple App Store, right? I don't have any iOS devices, so I wouldn't know. I guess a quick Google search would do it. But anyways, if any Android device you have, download the Ampere app and test all your chargers, cables, test your phone, see how many life cycles it is, see your battery health, and enjoy it. Again, this is one of the apps I keep in my toolbox, quote unquote, on every single device. So, appreciate the time, and see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.